Alright, gonna work on the shimming. Glued them in, cleaned up everything, gearbox is all clean. There's a hole drilled in the back for the spring guide, making it easy accessible. Bushings have been glued in with sandpapered first and then cleaned up and glued. Here we have a hole that I have drilled or cut very quickly. I got it done in no time. You can see right there, it's a nice position, can easily see beveled pinion from this angle. So it's beautiful, it's just a little window. So that will be nice to have. Don't necessarily need it, but it's just going to be nice overall because you won't have to open to check your beveled pinion easily. Plus you can see how parallel it is right away. So it's very beneficial, and there's no cons really. I mean, that spot's not going to crack or anything. Alright, so open this up, gears are all cleaned out, there's no grease, the whole inside has been cleaned. You can see they're nice and shiny. And how do they sound? Not too bad. Not too bad. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and shim this, and we're going to see how it compares to the shims that were brought in on it. Alright, first things first. I need the motor. Here's the motor. Take these two out. I'm going to put the bevel in and see how much movement there is. Now you'll see how quickly I shim this. It's very quick. I need my real tool though. Okay, here we go. That looks like maybe 0.2, but I'm going to go with 0.1 on both the top and the bottom because it looks like 0.2. I'm just splitting it. It's just a guess. It's not really other reason. So we're going to go here and get this open. And some people might be like, well, it's a fast shim job. Well, no, I'm doing a really perfect shim job, but it's going to be fast because I've done this so many freaking times. Okay, so we got one there. And we got one there. Alright, put it on there. Close her up. Could use another one. I'm going to use a 0.2 this time. I need the bag for it. Here's the bag for it. Jeez, if I can get this thing open. I hate these little bags, and they won't give you a way to open. I just want to. Most of my time's trying to get the damn bag open. Okay, so let's put our 0.2s. And then they're all stuck. Jeez. 0.2s right there. Alright. 0.1s, 0.2s. Lift this up. Take this. And I'm not sure where my knife is. Here it is. Pull off the top here. Put it back. Need a 0.2 right on the top. Might be able to get away with 0.1 more. So we're going to throw it on. Let's just make the bottom another 0.2. So we have .2 on the top, .2 on the bottom. So barely anything you can hear. Moves up barely. If I put any more, it's going to be too tight. So just to show, you hear nothing. Yep, it's too tight. You can barely turn it. So it's a good eye when you can tell it's too tight before putting it on. Now the question is, when you tighten the gearbox, is it going to be too tight? And that answer is going to be no. With experience, it is not going to be, if you have experience of doing it. So we put these right here. I might take these screws and make them flatheads, I don't know. Actually, Phillips would probably be the best. At least the one that's a different star screw size. I don't know why JG did this. Okay. Moves ever so slightly. And it has the tiniest bit up-down movement. See, I knew that was going to happen because it happens all the time to me. So that is the correct space. Now to apply the motor. So we found the correct space real quick. With 2.2s, we got one on the bottom, one on the top. And now we're going to see where beveled pinion comes in place. Put it right in here. And I need the screws for it. Thanks JG for making it a different, at least it's a Phillips. At least it's a Phillips, right? Okay, and right away I can see down to the pinion with a flashlight. You can see a whole lot more. Okay, looks like it's at the correct position already. So he knew that, but is it too tight? Is going to be the question. Another reason why the window is good to have. Look at that. That is at the exact height. I don't know how I did that. Now the question is, what are these? Bottom is 0.2 and the top looks like a 0.2. So matches. And from what I can tell, there's the slightest bit of movement, but how much of that movement is actually resisting? So I'm checking it right now. It's at perfect. See, it's not too tight right now to turn it. So this is actually beveled pinion meshed perfectly already off the bat. So we are done with that. Completely done with the bevel. And we made it easy to check it. So, Mr. Mullen, I think that's how you say your name. This is already perfect. Now why did it look not parallel though? It's parallel now. It could have been that there was something on. I remember when I was cleaning the gears there was like little plastic pieces, so it could have been on top of this and pressing it, but if you were to look at it now, it is totally parallel. I don't know how to best show this on camera, but you can see it's totally parallel. I mean, I'm trying to put it in place and this would be centered, so it is perfect on the dot. And I think there was something, it's not on here, but I remember washing the gear and there was something on it. So this is why I wash the gears, especially when I don't know what is on there, because it makes it so you can tell if it's perfect or not. So that is perfect. So that is done with 2 on top and 2 on bottom. 0.2. Okay, so now we're going to go right into this. There is markings on the spur area, right here, here. So that means at one point this was too low. I'm going to go ahead and start off with at least. What I like to do is see how much high up I can go compared to the spur. And I'm going to go 0.1 real quick. Stop being annoying and just get in there. Go with 0.2. 0.2 should make it really close to like a 90% or higher on the yeah, that spins beautifully with 0.2. Let's see what he had on the bottom here. I'm thinking this is a 0.2. It's 0.2. And it's like a 90-95%. It's really high up there. So that's good. Alright, then what we do is take this out. And run this by itself. Oh, come on. Okay, run it by itself. So you put the lid back on. What I'll do here is get my other screwdriver. I'd say that's about 0.3. That's what it looks like to me. So I'm going to throw on a 1 and a 2 because I'm bold like that. I'm just going to throw them all both on. Close it. There's like such a small sound, I'm not sure if it's too tight. And it's not too tight. Just barely, not too tight. I mean, we're probably talking about less than a half of a 1 or something, maybe a tenth of that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if I was to tighten this, Checking the spur gear so I can say it's done. Technically, if I was trying to do this really fast and still perfect, I could do 3 gears at the same time before closing it up and screwing it down and then checking the final work. But this is not a go as fast as you can video, because I wouldn't be talking. Because when I comment and talk, it takes me longer because I'm just like, whatever. Yeah, there's no way that gear is tight. I mean, look, barely touch it. See? So, it's perfect shim now. Now to compare what's on the top. You know, I would recommend this gun for buying, because the Gearbox shell, I give it a big thumbs up. And it comes with bushings, I think. I'm not really positive yet, but this seems like a pretty good buy if you don't have a lot of money. Of course, these gears weren't in here. These are 13.1 that he has in here. He's upgraded quite a bit of stuff in here. Okay, so pull that off and compare with what he's got here. This looks like from a Prometheus set, I'm guessing. And look at that. Almost a 0.3. So, in comparison, this guy is shimming on the dot too. So now, we just need to do the sector gear, and somehow he probably didn't miss that, I bet you. Okay, first things is to have the cutoff for sure. Otherwise, I am not being for certain that it is passing it. So, where's the screwdriver? You want to make sure that it gets past. It's not rubbing into it and whatnot. This to me doesn't even need a shim. He's got a shim there. However, for friction reasons, it might be a good idea to put a shim, or to cut that slightly and leave more contact. Easiest, of course, is just to add 0.1 millimeter, which I'm going to do, so the friction is less on the bushing. Now I need to see how much slack we have here. I want to think that's 0.4. Could be 0.5. Oopsie. Looks like it's 0.5. Interesting, because this looks like from another set that I've seen, and this gold is probably a 0.5 from what I can tell. So, we are probably officially done already. I'm going to do two things at once here. Is this his cylinder? It looks like it. I've had many things on this table, so I just had to look for a second. Let's see here. Is it rubbing into it? Nope. How does it pass it? Passes it fine. It's got little markings on it that make it more hard. Okay, so take that out. I'm about to say this is a perfect shim job, hands down. And I came out to the same exact number he has. That is crazy. Sounds like this thing is not getting in there correctly.
Okay.
So yeah, we're pretty much done with the shim job already.
Yeah.
What is going on here? I'm having a problem with the screw though. Did I tighten this one too tight? You know, like it's not ready to be dropped in there. It looks like what's going on is there's something wrong with this freaking hole. And that's probably why. The other one might be different sizes because it's stripped. Nope. Not stripped. They are definitely a little bit different in size. Yeah. Let's see if I can use this to get better leverage. Totally can. That's interesting. So I guess because of the mounds in here or something, I can use two different types. So they actually are the same size screw, but some of them work with the smaller and some of them don't. It's pretty weird. I've never seen that before. Okay. So, of course, this is going to go free back, and there is at least 0.1 millimeter or more, maybe 0.2 millimeter for the top of plate to freely move. So, perfect shim job is what this is looking like. So, Mr. DMullen, if that's how you pronounce your nickname, you have a perfect shim job before I got in here, which means you know how to shim. And you had perfect beveled pinion and perfect height adjustment, so I have to give you a big A+ for that, because I didn't have to do crud. And you got it down. However, I glued in your bushings and everything, so that's all good. I don't even have to do a gear break-in. You've got this set. So, this is looking all great. What to do now is check the piston, because we are going to use a blue Lonex, but I'm positive that we are not going to have a problem with that. We just need a new piston. So here's our old piston. Everything looks good here. Rotate this around. Bam, hits into this. And you can see it would just do this, because there's not much of anything left in the teeth. If I can rotate backwards here, I'm getting like stuck. Not cool, don't get stuck. Yeah, see, there's absolutely nothing left. I mean, it's just going to rotate off that one tooth right here. So I think what really happened is either pre-engagement or there's a hit back here, like an impact. What could have happened is this was not hitting forward at the right time because the spring is a little weak. I mean, for me, this is weak because I'm used to a lot heavier springs. So usually I do this with a spring guide. So for me, that's kind of weak. I'm used to doing it with like the heavier springs. And what you can see here is I did Dremel that out a little bit. We also have here, somehow it was hitting, looks like it was hitting into the shell or something. See how it's graying? It was hitting into something. That's going to be prevented now because the spring can move easily, freely, and in and out, even though it's not going to. But it was getting caught in the piston, and now it's not getting caught anymore either. So that shouldn't create an issue ever. Which it probably wasn't an issue in the first place. It probably would be at some point if it got really stuck on there. Anyways, but showing how this rotates. Put this back in here. And let's say this is your 12 o'clock position right here. It would pull it and the spring would give resistance right here. So it's going to slide. It's going to slide. See, it's going to get pulled right here. And this section right here, if it has any resistance, is going to make it slide the teeth. It's just going to be like in here, which you can kind of see. But anyways, to point out what I think happened, either we had some pre-engagement and it hit here because of the 13.1 gears and the spring, or what happened is the angle of engagement wasn't corrected and it impacted here because it didn't, when it was grabbing, it kind of spun and hit up in here and took this section out. So that's my two things that could have happened, theories, because I'm not exactly positive off one or the other yet. Either way, it's not going to happen again, so I want to put this in here. The 12 o'clock position rotates. It's just not going to cycle very well. It needs a new piston because that is really gone. You can see for yourself that's just totally gone. There's nothing to grab. Looks like what probably happened is the teeth have been scraped into here. That's what it looks like a little bit. Anyways, everything else is looking good so far. I'm going to try my high quality wire that I already have. Silver plate wire, but it's a 16 gauge. It's kind of thicker. It's nicer. It's nicer on the outside than this, and it's a little bit thicker. So I don't know how that's going to fit in there because this was pinched inside the grip. So we'll see how that goes. But obviously, perfect shim job before I even got to it. So now all you need to learn is the rest of the stuff. As far as the extreme fire cheetah goes, when you put the wires in here, they've got to be kind of, this is too big, in other words, right here, and it needs to be twisted properly. So when you get it in there, you can tighten it and it doesn't touch one another. What you have is you have these wires over here too close together, and they can short very easily because one is right next to the other like this, and even though they're crimped in there, they're touching a little bit. So that's probably why your thing was shooting. Well, I know for a fact it's wires touching, or it's right here in this, which would be somehow these are touching the gearbox. I think I'm going to, I don't think they are, but I think I'm going to take these off and solder some new wires, I think, because I really don't like how this twists around like that. It's kind of pinched. Anyways, everything's looking great. I gotta give you a big thumbs up for the awesome shim job you did, because it compares exactly to mine. Great job. Catch you guys later. Bumpy the fist. I'm gonna see you in a few days. I've got to order a new piston and then put this all together so we can get this guy's gun really kick ass.